Thomas Tuchel has now been announced as the next England manager. What does that mean for Manchester United? Because reportedly, if they did sack Ten Hag, Thomas Tuchel was first in line. Is Ten Hag even close to being sacked, or was that just media speculation? And what is the plan now if Ten Hag is sacked? There is some issues going on at United. We're in 14th place. It's not good enough. And two stars that Man United were hoping on bringing in, apparently having second thoughts about joining United in the current state we're in. Marcus Rashford, PSG shown a lot of interest in Marcus Rashford, 400k a week offer a couple of years back, renewing their interest, valuing him at £75 million. Could Ineos potentially cash in? Branthwaite, a player that Ineos have their eye on, and Jim Ratcliffe still wants the player. Is Ugarte injured? And a few other stories. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another Manchester United 10-minute news roundup video. We are currently on 95,000 subscribers, 197. So we're only 3 subscribers away from 95.2k. So please do subscribe down below if you're new. But on that road to 100,000 subscribers, let's dive right into the news. So unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you're aware of the Thomas Tuchel news. I'm not going to go on about it for too long. We're going to go back to United in a second, but it was said that Thomas Tuchel has agreed to become the new England manager. In recent weeks, Thomas Tuchel was made aware that he would be Manchester United's #1 target if they came to replace Erik Ten Hag. Thomas Tuchel was probably the best coach on the market, but I don't think he was the right fit for United, says Umer. Do I think United will look good this season under Ten Hag? I doubt it. Is Tuchel a better coach than Ten Hag? Yes, but I think in the long term, there's better fits than him, and I agree with Umer. So obviously Thomas Tuchel is now the England manager. There's a lot of outrage with United fans online. Oh, we've bottled Tuchel because we kept Ten Hag and we could have just sacked Ten Hag. But I think Umer makes a really good point here. Tuchel, I think in the short term this season, if Tuchel took over from Ten Hag right now, I think we'd finish a lot higher in the league than we will under Ten Hag. I will say that with confidence. But I don't think Tuchel was the guy in 3 years' time that's going to be leading us to titles. I don't think he's the guy that solves all our issues. And I think the thing Ineos see is Tuchel's the best option on the market now, which means we're going to get the most short-term improvement. But we've always been chasing short-term improvement at United. We need to plan for the future. And there could be a manager available in the summer that, when you look at the vision, how we want to play, is better over a 3-year process rather than, okay, we need to finish in the Champions League this season. We're going to have 2 seasons out. Tuchel can probably do that. But is Tuchel the guy going forward that Ineos want to back and make the head? Probably not. And I think Uma makes a good point. For me, as an England fan, I'm a massive fan of the Tuchel appointment. I think his ability to adapt systems, he's a proven tournament manager. I think it's a fantastic appointment for England. And I think while, Man United have dibble-dabbled on sacking Ten Hag, and a lot of people are getting frustrated saying, Ineos, why have they not sacked Ten Hag? We're 14th. This is his 3rd season. And there's frustration with Ineos for not acting quick enough on this. I can understand why Ineos haven't sacked Ten Hag. I think being in 14th, if Ineos sacked Ten Hag, I couldn't complain. I'd say fair enough. But I also can understand why Ineos haven't sacked Ten Hag. We're 7 games into the season. They spent a lot of money on him. They decided to stick with him, just because the fans are getting rowdy. If they go ahead and sack Ten Hag this quickly, it's a reactionary decision. I think, there's an argument for either way, keeping and sacking Ten Hag. I think he's got a month, and if we get our next 7 games are really bad, I think he probably is gone, but I think they want to give him another 7 games to see if he can turn it around. However, Sami Mokbel of the Daily Mail is saying that Man United are still considering the future of Ten Hag. A United defeat by Brentford on Saturday could see him sacked. Now look, if we lose badly to Brentford, he probably deserves to be sacked, but I almost don't want him to be sacked if he loses badly to Brentford, because I'm thinking you had the 2-week international break where you could have brought Tuchel in, you didn't sack him, you sack him a week later. For me, if you've not sacked him in this international break, what's the point in letting him play 1 game and then sacking him after? Like, what difference is that 1 game going to make? You could have sacked him 2 weeks ago. And even if we played bad to Brentford, I almost want him sacked in the moment. But at the same time, it's like, well, you might as well wait to the November international break. You can't, for me, to have this big meeting and 1 game and then he's sacked would make no sense. So I don't think he's going to be sacked, even if we lose for Brentford. I think he'd have to lose the next 3 games in a row to be sacked at the earliest. I think he gets to the November international break. But Lawton of the Times did say the pressure does remain on Ten Hag. I think we all know the pressure there is on Erik Ten Hag. And, he feels safe for now, but we know that Ineos will probably pull the trigger. I think the earliest Ineos is going to pull the trigger is the November international break. And I actually said back in September at the start of the season, I think Ten Hag, no matter what happens, has until the November international break, a little bit like Ollie had in his 3rd season. So, what are the options in regards to Manchester United if they do sack Ten Hag? Amorim, Nagelsmann, Alonso, McKenna and Hoeneß. Now, Nagelsmann apparently does not want to leave the Germany job, but they're probably the best options on the market that United like the most. I can't see Alonso happening. Nagelsmann won't leave the Germany job. Hoeneß, I don't know where he's at the moment and if he wants to come to United. McKenna's not going to leave Ipswich until at least the end of the season. Amorim's probably the most realistic out of all of those. But Pep Guardiola is also set to leave Man City, and Man City may also look at Amorim, having brought in the sporting director to replace Tixi. Continuing on into some problems that Man United are having then. 2 recent transfer targets for Manchester United having second thoughts about joining the club after seeing Erik Ten Hag's side sink to 14th in the Premier League, and the manager faces more uncertainty over his future. So apparently we have 2 transfer targets. I'm not sure who they are. They didn't name them. But apparently there are players that we're looking at and we're hoping to bring in maybe January or the summer that are not 100% sure if they want to move to United because we're currently in 14th and not in a good place. And while that hurts to hear, can you blame them? Can you blame a player for saying, I'm not sure? Now, for me, because I always look at United on the bright side and always look at the positive things, I think, yeah, we're 14th now, but with Ineos and the investment coming in and Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada being there, I think that United will be back on the right track. And I think this time next season, we'll be in a lot better position than we are now. I actually think in 3 years' time, Man United will be back. And I believe that Ineos is actually going to take us back for the first time in 10 plus years. So that's what I would tell myself. But that's because I'm a Man United fan that's seeing the positive and choosing to believe in Ineos when I know a lot of people are already having their doubts in Ineos. But you can't blame players for saying, well, they're 14th in the league, they're playing crap football. Every player seems to be regressing under Ten Hag. You know, we had a good summer and this is Ten Hag's first season, we're not seeing improvement. So you can't blame anyone that we want to bring in to be like, I'm not sure if I want United, because we do kill careers. Now, talking of potential exits, now I don't think Rashford is going to leave, but I do think potentially if a big offer comes in, Ineos could be open to it. But we were told by The Athletic that in summer of 2022, a lucrative offer was made of £400,000 a week to Rashford to swap his boyhood club for Paris, and the Man United obviously offered Rashford a new contract. But we know that PSG have always had an interest in Rashford. Now, PSG reportedly had an interest in Rashford this summer. PSG expressed an interest in Marcus Rashford again this summer. United value Rashford at £100 million, which stopped any pursuit from happening. PSG are likely to renew their interest again in Marcus Rashford next summer, and PSG value Rashford at £75 million. Now, I like Marcus Rashford, and I think we can get a load of money for him. Like, I understand why United valued him at £100 million. But I do think if PSG offer £75 million for Marcus Rashford, and Marcus Rashford isn't 100% happy at United, I don't think Ineos are going to stand in the way of that. Ineos have made it very clear then, you know, if a player wants to leave, they're not going to stand in the way of that, and they're happy to cash in on all players. Now, I like Rashford. I think he's actually a quite good start to the season. I think he's finding his confidence and getting back into form. So for me, I don't want to sell Rashford. Anthony's the winger I want to sell. I personally would not sell Rashford, but £75 million, if that comes in the summer and he's not had the best season, it is one of those where you go, let's take that. But as of now, I think Rashford has no interest in leaving Manchester United. And I think what happens with Rashford in the summer probably depends on how the season goes in his form. But PSG do still have interest in Marcus Rashford. A player that Man United still have interest in is Jarrad Branthwaite. Ratcliffe's determination to secure Branthwaite signals Manchester United's defensive overhaul. As Manchester United grapples with a turbulent start to the season, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's interest in Everton's Jarrad Branthwaite remains strong. After failed attempts to lure the centre-back over the summer, Ratcliffe is reportedly gearing up for another shot at securing the young defender. With United's defensive line under scrutiny, a potential transfer could signal a fresh direction for the club. According to Team Talk, Rashford is undeterred by Everton's stance and is prepared to test the results once again. We know that. We know, like when we didn't get Sancho when he was at Dortmund that first season, we wouldn't have got Sancho the second season. We know that United are going to go back in for Branthwaite in the summer. I don't know if Branthwaite will come to United. He might look at our season and think, you know what, I'm going to avoid that. But we know that United want Branthwaite. We know we're going to go back in for him in the summer, and we know that's a move that United could potentially make. Continuing on as well in terms of Ugarte. So Manuel Ugarte came off in the 82nd minute for Uruguay versus Ecuador, was having a really, really good game, really involved. He's come off of an injury. He was holding his hamstring, it looked like, sort of groin hamstring area. So hopefully it's nothing serious. Hopefully it's just a little bit of a knock or something. But, you know, some people, there's a rumour saying that it's one of those injuries that could be 4 to 6 weeks, which would be a massive blow, which would mean we wouldn't see him at all in November. Especially when we had that report come out the other day that now Ugarte's sort of settled in a bit more and is back to fitness. Ten Hag plans to play him and utilise him a lot more. And this is when Ten Hag plans to really integrate Ugarte. It would be a massive blow. But listen, people, do let me know your thoughts on all the news in the comments down below. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, what I'm saying. Let me know your general thoughts and more. I will be back with a live show tonight. I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Smash the likes on the way out. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. And hopefully Ugarte is all good. Hopefully we've got no more injuries and international break is essentially over now. Boom.